Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
It's the Tennessee Home and Building Depot huge tent sale on Saturday, 29th October. Come shop and get instant savings up to 75% off every item out of the tent, including the kitchen sink. You hear sale? This coming Saturday, all roads lead to the Tennessee Home and Building Depot for the huge tent sale. Don't you miss it.
Another beautiful Wednesday morning. It's the 28th day of October, and I bid you a very warm welcome to another episode of Voices. It's a bit overcast and a little bit of an intermittent showers downtown, beautiful Bastia, but of course we are in paradise. To all our viewers, listeners, those who make commentary via the various streams, welcome to another episode of Voices. Of course, you logged on to WinFM 98.9 on the FM dial. My name is Socrates, and it's a wonderful Wednesday. We're saying good morning to all our fans out there in the various demographics, time zones around the world. I normally hail up folks like Chris Collins up there in Sheffield, Dr. Sweeney, Rosemary, Donald, Amber, Jennifer, the folks who send their comments. By the way, just in case you didn't know, I do not read the monitors. I'm not close to it, so I really can't respond in real time to your comments. That being said, it's Open Mic Wednesday. I do have an issue or two I want to raise and discuss with the public at large. And so for those who sort of prompted me into this particular topic, I hope you'll take up your phones and make your contributions. I don't want to be the only person who just keeps talking about these topics. We'll be discussing some taxi issues, Calypso issues. We're approaching the launch of the Calypso tents. One is due to open its doors next week, Thursday, the 3rd of this month. Sorry, of next month. So, as the great Turkey used to say, bring your honey and your money and come enjoy some good Calypso. Starting next week, Thursday, the 3rd of November, as we give up to kickstart our national carnival, Novdub Sugar Mass 51. Taxi drivers has been so more or less complaining about what they see as being slighted. They think they were part of the frontline workers. And recently, the government paid an honorarium to the frontline workers. I think to the tune of $2,000. And many have been calling me and making the case that they too qualified as, because they were on the COVID constraints, called to transport passengers to these various sites, and they have been ignored. So I know, because I'm part of a process in trying to bring financial relief for the taxi fraternity. We know that various industries suffered because of the COVID-19, and the feedback is, yes, there are other people, other stakeholders who are being considered. So my response to them, well, speaking about the president who made the representation on behalf of the taxi fraternity, didn't put in anything for us frontline workers. And the feedback was, yes, we were frontline workers because we had to go to the airport and transport people to this, to the Koi Hotel. We were the frontline workers. They depended on. We had to go to the protocols, investing in outfitting the vehicle to be COVID ready, and and tourism would have listed quite a number of persons who they depended on, who now believe that they should have been considered as frontline workers. And so there is that ongoing discussion. I put it up there. And there are those who have spoken to me. I've raised it. If you guys or anybody in the public think that they should be qualified, they should have been considered in what was being paid to frontline workers because they were indeed frontline workers, talk to me. 662-0989, 466-0989 gets you in on the conversation. There is that topic. And then there's the other one, which I am going to try to put a little humor into it. It's a serious issue. And I call it the Bang Austin Day. I'm saying that it appears that Monday, when we had the last cruise ship visit, turned out to be Bang Austin Day. I know one Austin almost got bang. I'm going colloquial with this. Another one was banged, and another one came and sort of banged his mouth. And I expect a call from a certain person who was involved with that incident that unfolded down at Port Zante on Monday that resulted in a video that's making the rounds. We have a call online. Let's see if we can take this call. Call you live on Voices. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Thanks for taking my call. How are the eye?
The eye is wonderful.
Give thanks.
Okay, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. Before you talk about the carnival thing, I want to say something about that. But before you talk about that, you had any other topic on the line? That could be just tuning in on the radio.
Taxi drivers thought they should be considered as frontline workers. The incident at Port Zante yesterday, carnival issues. If you bring your topic, it's open mic.
What happened at Port Zante yesterday? Give me a brief. Give me a quick.
There was an incident where a security officer actually physically assaulted a taxi operator, which caused him to be hospitalized. But he was taken by ambulance to JNF. And there's a whole fallout as to what happened and what caused it. And that's...
It's already still in terms of the inquiries, but that's a red flag. Because the violence in any form is not pretty. Yeah. Anyhow, so them things they talk about. All right. The carnival. We see where you're from with the money we pay out to people who frontline. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's opening up a can of worms, from this lady with this $27,000 forward, because we feel say that any kind of money to pay out to people, not just in St. Kitts Nevis, but in other places, is them who put this thing on the world. The bill forgot to them. Because this thing not just so. This pandemic, why with corona, it people responsible for it. So therefore, this government is paying out money, foolishness. You what me hear what we say? Foolishness.
I'm hearing you.
To them, whoever they be, better than China, America, wherever they be, the bill forgot to them. All right. My family just tell me anytime I come on radio, just make sure I mention about the solidarity, the dire needed solidarity around farmers. And the other day we talked about farming and we say, we're looking forward to see miles of food in a St. Kitts Nevis. You see me? Mm-hmm. As small as we be. Because the earth ready. And talking about that, the nasty people, them, big up clean people, the nasty people, them, to stop the bucket Mother Earth. Yeah?
Yes, the pollution.
You know the nasty people? We not come off on now. Because I'm for go away. Some of them shouldn't even born. I'm serious about it. And the whatever administration could quickly put policies in place to make them stop, walk and drop, drive and drop, run and drop.
Little.
Yeah. They got to play all land of beauty. And the first thing in the anthem that. I want to keep marrying beauty with all the nastiness. You see me? I mean, I like that. On a lighter note,
Go right ahead.
the man that we want to appeal to the St. Kitts Nevis man them, whether we're rich or we're poor, who paying house rent for Spanish woman to get sexual favors, whether daily, weekly, whatever it is. Well, if you consider taking that money, we not have nothing against the Spanish woman them, you know, and them doing them business, and I saw it said. I saw them say that's where to live, I saw it said. But we are concerned that those monies could go elsewhere to baby mothers, right? From St. Kitts Nevis and to them Pitney. You see me? And if you say want to pay woman rent, there's a lot of sisters from St. Kitts Nevis who are in those same position. I will love a man to pay them rent. When I find them. When I find them and assist them. And don't just show all the own money inside of these Spanish women to get sexual favors. We are begging you. Come out for that. Because holy products are go on. Running about St. Kitts Nevis. And somebody rent them very big. But the men them paying still. See? We have other things we want to talk about, but it come like early upon the line, so give thanks to the time, my brother. Blessed love.
Well said, and I appreciate that. As a matter of fact, I agree with you on the sentiment expressed about the fathers who, mainly on paydays, find these bars, find these clubs, and spend their hard-earned money rather than going home and supporting their families. So you find the children are on the street, getting in all sort of trouble, not seeing the father supporting the wage good, and then they go and spend elsewhere. We go back to the phone lines. Caller, you live on Voices.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How about that?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad for an old man. Count to my blessings, so we're going forward.
The King, I wanted to touch base with you at an earlier topic pertaining to the passing of the Babylon Queen who has transitioned when that space and time took place.
Mm-hmm.
However, permit me to speak about the new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Rishi Sunak.
Go ahead,
I'm
sir.
going to take you back 7 years when Brexit was initiated. Now, to each their own interpretation of these events that are happening. In my opinion, and my understanding of Brexit is that Brexit was designed just to keep the United Kingdom white. Let me repeat this. In my opinion, Brexit was designed to keep the United Kingdom white. Today, we have an Indian Prime Minister in the United Kingdom. Now, just before that, Liz Truss, just under 45 days, has signed to the king, the new king, her resignation. Now, I want our people to pay attention to the happenings. These events, they are not coincidence. Just after the Queen transition, and let me add to say that the Queen has transitioned to an eternal damnation, in my opinion. The scriptures are being fulfilled, the King. Just after the Queen has transitioned, they have erected a black statue in Trafalgar Square in the United Kingdom. A first black statue in Trafalgar Square in the United Kingdom. Now, for those who don't know, King Charles II, who was King Charles III, great-grandfather, in 1660, there was an astronomer by the name of John Flamsteed. You can do your own research. When the United Kingdom went to war with Poland, there was an army general on the United Kingdom side by the name of Brand the Blessed. He got wounded, and he begged his soldiers to bring his body back to the United Kingdom and to decapitate his body and bury him at the London Tower. Along with his body was a raven was buried. A black bird was buried at London Tower. Now I'm trying to share some history of rituals. Rituals, the king. Now, when Bram the Blessed, who was wounded, was buried, they buried a raven. If you go to the United Kingdom today and you visit the London Tower, it is swarmed with the blackbird raven.
I've seen them.
These are rituals. Now, there are scepters in the United Kingdom, and one of the scepters that was carried and is still used today is a scepter with a skull. And on the skull is a raven. And these scepters, I don't know if you might be aware that I think the late queen has had 7 scepters in her possession. One of those scepters was the scepter with the skull, and on the skull was a raven. You know, I have always said to King that in this age of technology, ignorance is a choice. Because when colonizers have appropriated everything in terms of a way of life, we as Africans had our way of life before they colonized and enslaved us through brutality, genocide, and atrocity. Today, they have appropriated everything, and we have swallowed everything that they have given us wholesale, even Christianity in their narrative. The King, there's a lot to talk about today, because events that are happening, they are not coincidence. Now, the King, Charles III, have summoned, and I use the word summon briskly, summoned the President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. President Joe Biden, has invited Ramaphosa. They all want South Africa to be a mediator in their war. This is their war, the King. I want Africans, because I have said we should be spectators in this war. But they want Cyril Ramaphosa to be a mediator in their war, while South Africa is not a part of the peace treaty. They could have gone to any of their own European countries and select a mediator. The question we should be asking ourselves, with this new prime minister with Indian background and part of the continent, because I think one of his parents might have migrated from Tanzania, we should ask ourselves the question, would Rishi Sunak going to be a next Obama? Because critics are saying that this is a symbolism of our first black African president, Barack Obama. But what did Barack did for the black community? Because you and I know, the King, that the face that is in these positions, we should go beyond the faces that are the hands that work behind the scenes. Let us observe and see what's going to happen, because with the crumbling of Babylon, let us see what King Charles, who have said decades before that he knows the role that UK, United Kingdom, has played in slavery and colonization. And just recently, before his mother passed, he said he himself now has to look deep within himself to understand the error of slavery and colonization. The rhetoric has changed. Babylon is crumbling. The King, let us stay focused on these changes.
Appreciate your call and your contribution. At this point in time, we pause for a word or two from our very kind sponsors.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
As we welcome you back to Voices, I'd like to say good morning to Lady Agnes Carrot and her beautiful daughter Lisa. Of course, there's also lots of folks up there whose names, don't come to mind at the moment, but I want to say good morning once again to Lady Agnes Carrot. Need to have a little chit-chat with you sometime soon. Now, some of the commentary that comes my way indicates that I let people speak too long or I cut into people's conversation. Sometimes when folks are not connecting the dots, I try to, move the conversation along. Sometimes I just listen. And then, this person talked too long, and it's a matter of, it's a process, right? But after the last caller, I would like for you to connect the dots. I know you started with the passing of the late Queen Elizabeth. We went to the current Prime Minister, we went down to the 1600s and came back. Connect the dots so it flows. So I don't have to cut in because I would like for you to be able to say the things you have on your mind without interrupting you, but please try to connect the dots. Okay? Let me hold the phone lines for a while, if I may, to speak about the incident that took place at Port Zante yesterday. I got there just past 9 o'clock. Sorry, that's Monday, the day of the last cruise ship visit. And I was told that there was an incident involving one Austin Coker, the security guard down there. And I went to inquire of Mr. Coker what was the situation. And he said to me that he was crossing from one side of the barriers down there now to keep, crossing from one side of the port to the other side, but going through the area where the barriers were positioned. And he was challenged by a security guard that he's not supposed to be within that area, within that space. He says, I'm just crossing over. This is Mr. Coker's account. And the security guard told me, go to in here, you ain't going to call inside here. And he said to him, well, put me out. Thereafter, a police officer who was standing nearby came across and advised the security guard that the gentleman was crossing over the other side. He wasn't stopping. He wasn't trying to engage any of the guests because at that point in time, there was no one in that area. So he wasn't trying to solicit work, as they call it, solicit work. And the security guard had some words for the police officer. tell him he can't tell him what to do because, and he claimed that a certain minister would have given them instructions not to let the taxi drivers walk over them. As Mr. Coker said, he don't believe the minister would have said that, but inasmuch that was the rationale that the security guard used for more or less challenging Mr. Coker walking back and forth, whatever. I left the port, and a few hours later, around town, I get a call asking me if I'm at the port. No. There's an incident unfolding where the same security officer would have, as they put it, knocked out a taxi operator. So I made my inquiries, and I was sent a video that showed, from what I saw, the security officer dragging a prone person, a prone figure of a man, on the ground from within the barrier area to the other side, and then just left him there and walked back in as if, well, I just dumped my garbage. He's out there who haven't seen it. That's the impression. And so I made inquiries again. And I'm told that, well, the taxi drivers were up in arms and there were a lot of noise and shouting. But for those who see the video, you will notice the whole area, the whole thing took place. There wasn't any tourists around. It is said that the volume of cruise passengers who came on Monday was about 800. So there was literally no work down there. And so that area was like a sterile area. There was no one to solicit, blah, 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 blah. So when that thing was unfolding, those who were concerned maybe, oh, it was done in front of the tourists. There was no tourists there to see anything. Perhaps a one or two. But there wasn't that normal traffic that you would see on a day when ships are in port. And I made a call to the gentleman. He goes by the name of Austin Powers. I made a call to him. I wished him well, hope he was doing okay, because my understanding was he was hit on the head, he was knocked unconscious, and then dragged. So I inquired how he was doing. He said, well, I just got up and so on and so with the case. I said to him, I believe this is going to be a legal matter, so I don't want to get into any details. And he explained to me, he says, I was actually going across on the other side to purchase something. And the same security guard approached me and said, go to here, you ain't calling here. And there were some words exchanged. And then the police got involved to explain to him, well, listen, the guy just going across. And then in the midst of that, the security guard pushed the taxi driver to the point he fell, and some are saying he hit his head. First, they can't know that he's knocked out. Well, it doesn't matter how you get knocked out. If you're knocked out, you're knocked out. So I started jokingly saying it's a tale of three Austins, because the first Austin that got in the furrow with the taxi driver, with the security officer, his name is Austin. So the second Austin now was the one who was allegedly pushed down by the security officer. Dragged. I saw the clip where he was actually dragged out from within the barrier area to the other side and dropped, and the guy to walk off, well, okay, I just dumped my garbage. And I saw that. So I inquired of Mr., well, we call him Austin Powers, and he explained, right? He did say that Ms. Gerda Franks, I think she's the product development officer, visited him at JNF where he was. He was taken there by ambulance. And she spoke with him. I, in my capacity as one of the presidents of the taxi fraternity, I made a call to her. I wanted to hear her side of things because and she rightfully said, well, it's an ongoing police matter. But what I can say, I did go to the hospital. I spoke with Mr. Powell and so on about the case. And I thanked her for that. I was called by the other Austin. Well, there are three Austins. I am told the other Austin showed up, which will now be Austin Edinburgh. And of course, he had some words to say. I mean, it was a nasty, nasty, nasty scene down there yesterday. Bottom line is, and I'm hearing things about the same security officer who was stationed at other locations and had altercation with other members of the public. On the beach, in Frigate Bay, so he was positioned down there. What informs all this? I mentioned earlier that the ship that came on Monday only brought about 800 passengers. For the past 5 weeks, I know of people who have been going to the port trying to get a job and not getting any because of the small volume of work that comes off and the pre-booked events. So then there's some of us who stay to the back of the side of the arrival hall below Mappos, if you look, and we wait our turns for a job. There is nothing happening there. There is nothing happening there. So even though me, Socrates House, don't like what's happening to the front, I do not do it myself. I understand the need for people to go out there and try to make a living. Let me take a phone call and then go back to the point. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Please forgive the feedback just now.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
didn't want to miss a word. I listened to the reasoning that you're having. And as we said before, that action there by whosoever the security officer is a red flag. And, you know, according to Mr. Wilmot Perkins in Jamaica, with the seas, God bless his soul, rest in peace. You see, the scrabbling for scarce benefits and spoils. Are you listening to me, well?
I'm listening to you. Go right ahead.
Okay. You see, the scrabbling in St. Kitts for scarce benefits and spoil, which the taxi men them is all part of, it is dangerous. It is very, very dangerous and dehumanizing. And the sooner we get out of it. Now, a lot of taxi men wouldn't like to hear me say, agriculture is the way to go. So we're just talking about agriculture a while ago.
Are you there?
Even if we decide to still embrace tourism, we do it on our own terms. You see me? Where we marriage whatever form of tourism we decide to keep with agriculture and up things in a St. Kitts and Nevis that the scrabbling for scarce benefits and spoils, because where you reach, I listen to your reason and you're speaking about the situation. The scarcity, the scantiness of work in that field by the seaport. And my brother, you see, bread and butter issues, that is why, we tell the political leaders them in the Caribbean, we're not from here, so, we are continental people. And then we have the political will to form fundamental unification to stand up in these regions here and make life be better for Tooth, Moon, Sam, and Baga, Otherwise, we're going to have changes of governments, all revolutions too. And some of them ain't going to be just so. Malcolm X said there's no revolution without blood, And if we don't find quickly, speedily, find a way for all and sundry to live as human beings after what we've been through for 400 plus years. Atrocities that is unimaginable. We are going to be in big trouble. It's going to be bam bam after bam bam. We ain't seen nothing yet, because there's a lot of plans. There's a lot of plans by our common enemies that don't even unfold yet, you know. In spite of what we're seeing going on in the world, you know. Because their intention, you know, their intention is what it is and it's not going to change. We give thanks to the good ones amongst them. Because a remnant shall come out of every nation to recognize that the people, the original people who are from the cradle of civilization are the rightful owners of earth and all within the same. We invite all to share. We invite them in our continent. And this is the results. I am not even looking upon them, you know, because good over evil, you know. It is done set, it done ordained. Come what may, good over evil. I have talked to people who look like me, members of my race for us, who are in position to set this thing straight. From St. Kitts Nevis head, political head, go right through. And if we have the will to do what we're supposed to do, blessed love.
Thank you for your contribution. Okay. Now, what the last caller was alluding to, that tourism is an industry that we should not be really gearing to so much, be so dependent on. But yet he's saying that we should use agriculture. Let's take a second call. Call 11 Voices.
King,
Good day, sir.
did I understand that you were asking me to connect the dots?
Yes, because you're on for 7 minutes. I'll let you speak because I'm told I interrupt people. I'll let you speak.
Okay,
You started with the Queen, then you went to the 1600s, and you came back to Barak, and you haven't connected the dots.
Well, you see, I have to touch as much as I can.
Yeah, but if you call to make a presentation, people must be able to get something from it. Oh, Johnny says so and so, I understand. But I am trying to follow you on that journey from the Queen Pass and the this and that and King Charles, and you haven't connected the dots.
Hear me again. Now, let us take what the last caller just mentioned about who we are. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to ask you a question. You don't have to answer it. A stranger comes into your house, and before that stranger came into your house, you're in your home with your family, and you have put guidelines to your family. I'm referring to your wife, your kids, and your children at a young age. You give them a guideline because you and your wife is the head of the house. A stranger comes in and appropriates the stranger way of life onto you, and you accepted it. Now, let us look at this on a global scale. The last caller mentioned who we are as a people on the continent. You're asking me to connect the dots. Now, on a spiritual level, you are aware, you're familiar with the story of Jesus, the principles of Jesus. He referred to the authorities at that time as they. Now, you're asking me to connect the dots. The scripture says, who has ears to hear, let them hear. I am not writing a book. I am paying attention to the times, the events, on a spiritual level, and on a historical level, and in reality. Now, let us not look at what is in this book that all of us gravitated to. I'm referring to the Bible. We are not objects of the story in the book. We are subjects. While colonizers placed us as objects during slavery and colonization and gave us their narrative in this book that all of us have, we are not the objects in the book. We are the subjects. When they told us that Esau sold his birthright and all of the many texts that we are familiar with. The exploitation of our continent, the land of milk and honey, with all the minerals. We know the principalities that are in power today, who are running this system that they have created through economics. The same opening statement that you made about the honorarium. This is what we are all about. Well, let us look beyond that. Let us look beyond the dollar sign. And if we are to go back to the way it was in the beginning, when our people were trading with agricultural produce, livestock produce. Again, let me say this to you, the king, and I'm going to finish now just because of other people want to call in. We were trading with food, agricultural produce, and livestock. Now, one might say, well, the technology for what we now have on paper in the dollar sign was not applicable at that time. Fine. But remember this, keep this in mind, that the Most High Word does not return void. When he says, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. You know,
Amen.
You said that you have sang songs pertaining to African spirituality, African history. Well, let us go back, the king. Nothing is wrong with going back. When Moses
I am moving forward. I'm not going back. I can reflect.
Let me make a point.
I can reflect, but I'm moving forward.
Let me make a point to you briefly. Now, you know the story when Mary and Joseph went up to Jerusalem to worship, and on their way back down, when they thought that the child was with them, and when they looked back 3 days, the child was not there, so they went back 3 days' journey. 3 days' journey. 3 days' journey can be interpreted 3 decades, 3 centuries. We as Africans have to go back to what was ours that was hidden by our colonizers. The damage is deep, the king.
Fair enough.
Let who have ears to hear, let them hear and apply the scripture to our reality.
Thank you.
Thank you for hearing.
Right now, we once again will be hearing from our sponsors.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
It's October, and the TDC Home and Building Depot has gone pink in support of breast cancer awareness. Shop in-store or online for our pink tag specials with up to 75% off selected items. And be sure to look out for our Flash Sales Fridays, where you get even more savings. Plus, every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m., our team of health professionals will be in-house, offering free breast screening and the chance to win a free mammogram. So this October, remember to think pink. Think TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
And we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you live on Voices.
Eternal greetings and joy to your brother and Ella in the fraternity of the Calypso Arena.
Your humble
How
servants.
your morning and your day is going so long.
A most pleasant morning, sir. Thank you for asking.
Give thanks for life. and good morning to your listeners via radio and internet. I tuned in a little late, so I just not long get a little video, little discussion with Jeremy, Johnny,
Yes.
and I don't know if what you all are indicating there, if that is what on your agenda for your setting of the program today.
Well, I was speaking about the incident that took place at Port Zante on Monday, where a security officer would have physically assaulted a taxi operator who ended up in the hospital. And you know how it came to be and what causes that issue. There is a scarcity of work. Someone would say, well, the season just started, give it a chance to pick up. But I was painting a picture as why people have to go to the front of the revel hall and try to get work, because those who diligently wait at the back end, you know what I'm talking about there by below my house, there is no work. There has not been any. So people go to the front to hustle, and they should not be treated as condrails, right? They should not be insulted by police officers and security guard, giving the impression to the tourists that these guys are unsavories. I myself don't operate in that environment, okay? But there are people who are compelled to do so. So it's a major issue, but at the same time, no security guard, whatever the issue, have any right to put his hands on anyone. So he calls a man to go to JNF yesterday, pushed down the man, hit his head, and then dragged him by his hand from within the barrier area, outside the barrier, and just drop him and walk off. Drag him along the pavement. How can this be? How can this be?
Let me ask a question, King. The security is a police, security.
They're called Island Constable.
Island Constable.
Some years ago, we used to have it called Tourist Patrol. When the ships would dock at the Deepwater Harbor, that long walk down from there, they'll have police station along the way. Then from the cenotaph in the opposite direction, the challenge was you were taking police officers off their regular duty. They could not address their regular duty and they deal with that. And so they created what's called the Island Constable to deal specifically with the patrolling of these areas at the fortress, on the beaches, in Frigate Bay, Wilder Strip, at Port Zante. You know? But some people feel that taxi drivers who are actually businessmen investing in an industry, at one point we call ambassadors. Right? We are ambassadors. But then when things are scarce, because you're encouraged to go and invest, you go down to the port now, Monday, Tuesday, when there's no work, you start to hustle, you start to cut price. I understand it. I may not endorse it, but I understand it. And in that environment, the security come, the police come, and they run you, and they chase you, etc., etc. There has to be a better approach. So we've come to the point now where a security guard, in the early morning, almost got into altercation with another driver. Police had to tell him, you're wrong. 2 hours later on, he physically assaulted the next person. So
That's
who are we?
Security guard.
Pardon?
That's the same security guard.
The same, the very, very, very same. Wow. And I'm told that the same person got into an altercation on Cockatoo Beach with one of the vendors, where he assaulted her. They moved him from there, put him in Frigate Bay, and the very same thing happened. Something similar happened. He gets to Port Zante with the attitude as if we work for him, and are you going to call inside it? And then trying to quote the current Minister of Tourism as saying certain things to encourage him. He's trying to hide behind what she supposedly or allegedly would have said to them. Don't let us so and so and so on.
Well, I'm going to say this here now. Mm-hmm. I see them take a photo up here the other day when the boat was in, and it was very troubling to my mind to say, well, all these Island Council do doing out here, and they have the superintendent, Henry, and then this other police officer in green. I don't know if he's an inspector or he's a superintendent too, but he's a high-ranking officer. And then he had a sergeant police lady who takes us up. And they said, oh, what is the purpose you are out here? And then he had some tourism officials there. So I don't know if that was one of the level that they gave them to make them feel like whatever they do in their workforce, when they're out in these areas, they have the right to do it. Well, we need to say no. And
You
I
do
say
not
this
leave
without
your
any fear or
common
favor.
sense at home.
Let me say this here without fear or favor. It's time now that these people who you're putting in place as island constable, they need to know how to approach things and not how they want to deal with things.
I can say this
See?
to you, sir.
And don't say so to me,
99.9%
I'm not a sir.
from, okay, sorry. 99.9% of the island constable that I have observed do not behave in that manner. But sometimes they're
I know
giving
that.
instructions that they feel they have to carry out. But 99.9% do not behave in that manner. They're cordial, they're mannerly, they're good morning, how we doing? And we're friendly because we are one people down there. But there are some people who feel that they have the authority of a badge to put their hands on people.
No, that is not right. You need to resolve it with a different way forward in how to discuss and create the matter better than letting it go out of course. Because if you're looking to say you are here to serve, to help safeguard the industry.
Order.
Safeguard the industry is to keep everyone in respectful way, not how you want to target
Have
one
to
and
maintain
because
order.
that one might look a little lesser to you. You might want to go and use your force on the person because you could use that force because of what you indicate of your training. Because some of them get a training and they take them training like they are serious. They are indicate as a police officer. But all in all, I hope that the issue resolved much better and the person who has get on the receiving end of the hospital area, they get recuperated soon and they're able to get
He's
up
at home.
with
He's
it.
at home. He's at home. I spoke to him yesterday morning.
As a taxi driver, you know.
He's at home. But the ambulance came, took him up for observation, whatever. He's now at home. And it's a concern. There will be a general meeting at the Grand Ballroom at the Marriott this afternoon from 4 o'clock or 4:30 until 6. And they've invited all the stakeholders in the industry, taxi drivers to operators, even the store owners at Port Zante, because I'm told the barrier where it's positioned prevents traffic from the tourists to the business places. So all these issues will be discussed this afternoon. I'm not saying that it was triggered by Monday's incidents.
Up there by the back end there, the ship that come in, and I asked a question generally to who will benefit out of this industry and the context of how this industry is thriving, because when you look at the initiative that is taken up now under this new administration, I still find those big companies really have the final say when it comes to the control of the industry. And we need to really put them on the backbone and let them know. It's not about you, it's about the country.
And the answer is,
power.
their response to that is that taxi drivers need to go to Situate. Oh, you need to go to Situate too. I understand that. But there was a time when the taxi drivers contributed to the tourism contingent who went out there. We gave them the access to help fund the passage, to represent us. Now you were told that you need to go out there and represent yourselves. You're the government, and you've encouraged people to invest, and we have done so. And you need to make the industry work for everybody, not just for a select few. And that is the issue. So the fight down at the port is for the scraps that's left over when this company is gone. Even the beast jobs we used to get, they've taken it. So you're left scrambling. Now, in a few weeks' time, you're going to have more ships, a higher volume of work. It won't be as fast as this one, but it's the same principle. Because the days you have 2 and 3 ships. Mr. Grant could not understand how come you have 3 ships in port and people can't get work. It's going to get worse because you have more drivers they've put into the industry. I asked the former CEO, has there been any feasibility study done to determine if the industry can take more drivers? No. So how come you bring in more drivers? If you haven't studied to find out, because what you have is an overload of drivers, not enough work. So it's a free-for-all. But they're saying, you need to go to Situate, and I take a point. But that was not the initial plan.
The King.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to tell you, keep up your progress in what you're going forward with your other colleagues, and I work hand in hand to maintain the industry positively, even though I don't trust tourism as our capital investor. But I hope that this investor, as the administration say, that they're looking to maintain this industry to keep us on afloat. Well, we would like to say, do not discourage our taxi drivers and our vendors and our craft.
Much appreciated.
Part of this industry.
Much appreciated.
Let us work hand in hand and bring it to a safeguard as how it's supposed to be.
Thank you very much, sir.
That's how we asking for.
Appreciate that. Yes. Yes, sir. It is actually a collaborative effort that benefits just about everyone within the Federation. They use the word trickle down. It actually spreads across the spectrum to just about everyone in the Federation. From the vendors in the street, the farmers, the direct imported taxi drivers. It benefits. It's the #1 foreign revenue earner, and it has to be regarded, husbanded, and treated as such. As I said, on one hand, we call ambassadors. On the other hand, anyway, for those who didn't get the memo, there will be a general meeting, meeting this afternoon at the Marriott for all taxi stakeholders, even some of the store owners down at Port Zante. So it's going to be very interesting to see how things unfold. I don't believe they can get that information and all these things to be discussed within that 2 hours, but should get there in time. The Tourism Authority want to make a presentation. They want to talk about how things should unfold, operations at Port Zante. So don't let somebody tell you, well, this was said. Be there in person and get information, ask your questions, be edified, and that's how we can go forward if you're better informed. Okay? At this point in time, I think we are going to break for the midday newscast, and we will be back with further discussions on the other side.
You found the sound. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The St. Kitts and Nevis Solid Waste Management, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We are encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every second and fourth Tuesday each month at the following locations in St. Kitts: the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dip Bay. In Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, Ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. But wait, that's not all. £1 equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottle, flatware set, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tilly Wall with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
With the Win Headline News, I am Kevon Brown.
And I am Yulana Weeks.
Making the headlines, Island Bakery bread van flips on its side in Challengers.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank engaged fifth form business students of the Gingerland Secondary School. Deputy Governor Valder Henry explains the importance of wealth creation.
Bird Rock residents destroyed by fire, no injuries reported.
Nevis Department of Education receives 250 tablets from Winsong Foundation.
Former Speaker of the House in the British Virgin Islands, Julian Willock, may contest the next general elections. Taiwan assists Haiti's law enforcement with a donation of personal protective equipment. Internationally, clothing giant Adidas has cut ties with rapper Kanye West, saying it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Now, the details. Reports reaching our news desk indicated that there was a traffic accident in Challengers involving an Island Bakery bread van. The accident occurred in the vicinity of the Challengers Methodist Church between 9:20 and 9:45 a.m. There has been no confirmation of any serious injuries, but an ambulance was on the scene. The Island Bakery bread van appeared to be heading east to Bastille, and sources say the vehicle flipped on its side on the Island Main Road. There were no other vehicles involved in the incident. More on this as information becomes available.
Fifth form students of the Gingerland Secondary School in Nevis received an opportunity of a lifetime when they visited the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank ECCB headquarters in Bird Rock, St. Kitts just over a week ago. Their team at ECCB engaged the students about the role and activities of various departments, including the Banking and Monetary Operations Department, the Currency Management Department, and the Corporate Relations Department. They also received a tour of the bank's library. The visit to ECCB was part of the Business Week activities of the Gingerland Secondary School. The tour aimed to give the students a better understanding of the overall operation of the bank, banking business in general, and the importance of the ECCB to the financial landscape of the Eastern Caribbean countries. The students interested in business studies and entrepreneurship are in their final year of secondary school and are set to sit CXC examinations in May-June 2023. As such, Deputy Governor Dr. Valder Henry discussed with the students their career plans and encouraged them to work hard to achieve their goals.
The truth is, it's wonderful to know what it is we want to be. But that's not enough to get us to be there. To be what we want to be requires what? Skills. And to get those skills, what must we do? We must learn, we must put in the work. And it's okay to know what you want, but what I'm saying to you is you must put in the work to get to where you want to be. For now, your CXC results are going to play a critical role in you going forward. Getting accepted to college, getting accepted to university, that is important. And in order to get good results at CXCs, what must we do? We must study. And what does that take? It takes a little discipline and sacrifice. Because I'm sure you'd like to play with your friends and do TikToking all day and playing games all day and WhatsApping all day and Facebooking all day and all of those good stuff. And there's a place for that and a time for that. But we must remain focused on what it is we want to be.
In keeping with one of the areas of Financial Information Month, October 2022, Dr. Valder Henry shared with the students of the Gingerland Secondary School the importance of wealth creation.
How many of you get an allowance from your parents or your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, regularly? How many of you get birthday money? When it's your birthday, you get money for your birthdays. How many of you get money when it's Christmas? How many of you have a little job that, on a weekend or something you do, and you earn a little money? I am sure my cosmetologist must be doing some braiding on the weekends and things like that, a little makeup here and there, and so forth. One little advice. No matter what money you get, whether it's $10, $5, $100, $200, $20, don't spend all of what you get. Whatever you get, take off 20%. You don't need more than that. Take off 20%. So you get $100, save $20. If you can save more, do so. But at a minimum, whatever you get, save 20% from the top. Consistently.
The ECCB Deputy Governor assured the business students that once they make saving a priority, they will have enough money to invest when they reach an older age. She said such investments could bring more money or more wealth.
Firefighters from the Bastyr Fire Headquarters responded to a residential fire at the corner of Heron Street, Bird Rock on Tuesday afternoon, October 25th. According to a representative of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, the fire department was alerted to the house fire at about 2:27 p.m. Upon arrival at the scene, the house was engulfed in flames. The house, a single-floor concrete structure, had 4 bedrooms, a washroom, a kitchen, and a living room. The roof was made of galvanized and wood. All contents were destroyed. The property is owned by a family bearing the last name Richardson, but no one was at home at the time. Later that evening, the fire department was summoned to the scene again after 2 firefighters went to the property to back-check its condition. They recognized that the roofing area of the structure was smoking increasingly and needed attention. The appliance arrived at the scene shortly before 6:30 p.m. and quickly firefighters began to work. A senior fire officer at the scene told WinFM that it is not unusual for this to happen. He said, quote, "With fires such as these, it is important to backcheck because sometimes there are certain areas of the structure that water initially did not properly reach, and after a few hours it can start to smoke again," end quote. The fire department representative said there's still some uncertainty surrounding the incident, but investigations will be conducted to determine what led to the fire.
Junior Minister of Education in the Nevis Island Administration, Honorable Troy Liburd, confirmed the handing over of 250 tablets to the Department of Education, courtesy Windsong Foundation International. In response to the donation, the Honorable Troy Liburd stated, quote, "The devices will ensure that students are not disadvantaged due to access to technology," end quote. Winsong Foundation is a growing partner of the Department of Education Nevis. Over a year ago, in March 2021, the organization donated 2 30-seater coaster buses to the Education Department. In November 2021, Winsong Foundation donated a third coaster bus. Following the recent donation, Honorable Troy Liburd expressed his gratitude to the Winsong Foundation. Quote, I take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to the Winsong Foundation for their continued support of education on Nevis. End quote. The handover ceremony was held on Tuesday, October 25, 2022. In attendance were Permanent Secretary Mr. Kevin Barrett, Principal Education Officer Ms. Zanella Claxton, Deputy Principal Education Officer Ms. Londa Brown, as well as head teachers from the public primary schools on Nevis.
In regional news, former Speaker of the House in the British Virgin Islands, Julian Willock, may contest the next general elections. Taiwan assists Haiti's law enforcement with a donation of personal protective equipment. Those reports and more from Carib Update.
Former Speaker of the House of Assembly in the British Virgin Islands, Julian Willock, says he is contemplating contesting the next general elections there, due by the first half of next year. Willock tells Carib Update News that he's undertaking what he calls a listening tour of the various islands of the territories before deciding.
Well, part of my listening tour, as I talked to you about earlier, that there have been many people throughout the country, from Yanigada to Just Van Dyke and Virgin Gorda and the main island of Tortola, have asked me to run and think that I can make a meaningful contribution. I have not declared anything yet. As of today, I am a Virgin Islands Party member, and I will continue to be that until things change. I'm not predicting a change, but one never knows in this political arena.
Campaigning for the general elections has not begun in the BVI in earnest, and there has been some uncertainty about the governance status, with a threat by the United Kingdom to impose direct rule. Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell said Tuesday that his government is planning an entire host of activities next year that will reflect on the October 19 to 25th period back in 1983. The period started with the assassination of a prime minister and ended with the invasion by the United States. Speaking at a Thanksgiving service honoring the American invasion Tuesday, Mitchell made no reference to a public holiday on October 19, an announcement that was made last week by the Culture Minister.
We will engage communities across the island in a week of activities that begins on 19th October and culminates on October 25th. This approach seeks to encompass the significant events in this period and will provide an opportunity for increased dialogue, reflection, and introspection on one of our most formative events in our recent history.
Both the current Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell, and former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Mitchell, did separate readings at the Thanksgiving service. At the service, the preacher, Osbert James, said Grenada's revolutionary spirit needs to be awakened.
I said earlier that the revolutionary spirit of the Grenadian people has not died. It is just dormant, and it needs to be reawakened. I choose to believe that the Grenada Revolution, the real people's revolution, is what will take us into a future of hope.
Grenadian Pastor Osbert James. This is Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service. Taiwan is helping Haiti buy bulletproof vests and other personal protective equipment from Taiwanese manufacturers, the island's foreign ministry said on Tuesday, as security in the Caribbean country worsens. Haiti is facing acute fuel shortages due to a blockade by a coalition of gangs demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Ariel Henry, with economic activity coming to a halt and many hospitals forced to close. Haiti is one of only 14 countries to maintain formal diplomatic ties with Chinese-claimed Taiwan. Taiwan's foreign ministry said the government was helping the Haitian government buy personal protective equipment such as bulletproof vests from Taiwanese manufacturers. This has been another edition of Newsbreak from the Carib Update News Service, the Caribbean's newsroom. I am Wendy Chateau reporting.
We now bring you these international reports.
Now, the clothing giant Adidas has ended its partnership with the musician Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. Adidas says it does not tolerate hate speech. Hours later, Gap said it would remove its Yeezy products from its stores. It comes after Ye posted anti-Semitic comments on his Twitter account. He has since been removed from Twitter as well. Here's Peter Bowes with the latest from Los Angeles.
He had what every marketer dreams of, a larger-than-life personality, adoring fans and global stardom, a music industry extrovert and a maverick. Money-spinning tie-ups with household names from the world of fashion were lucrative. But the commercial prowess of Kanye West is imploding. After posting anti-Semitic remarks, Ye's been banned from Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. The luxury fashion house Balenciaga dropped the rapper. Gap is removing Yeezy products from its stores, and the talent agency CAA has stopped working with him. Ye's relationship with Adidas has been fractious for some time. In a now deleted Instagram post, he'd accused the German company of stealing his designs. And when he wore a White Lives Matter jacket at a Paris fashion show earlier this month, the firm said it was going to review their relationship. Now it's called time on their multi-year deal, saying Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Ye's comments and actions were unacceptable, hateful and dangerous. The company said ending its multi-year partnership would have a short-term negative impact of up to $250 million on its net income this year.
There's a feeling that Adidas should have acted a lot quicker than it did. And now it's going to have to, make amends with the Jewish community and show them that, it's sorry as a brand.
There's been no response from Ye to the move by Adidas, but he's facing a huge reputational and financial hit. Forbes magazine says he's lost his status as a billionaire and is now worth only $400 million. Peter Bowes, BBC News, Los Angeles.
When French President Emmanuel Macron arrived in Brussels for the European Leaders Summit last week, he warned China Europe won't be an open market for Beijing.
We have been naive. We were an open supermarket. We need to set new rules of the game and check our critical infrastructure for vulnerabilities.
But Macron was also clearly displeased with the German Chancellor's plan to travel to China next month. A trip the French president worries will send the wrong message at a time when the bloc is determined to curb China's growing economic and political influence globally. When fears of an impending recession in Europe were growing, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced in September a nearly $200 billion relief package. French officials felt betrayed. They were hoping for a coordinated EU aid scheme to save businesses facing the tough choice of cutting costs or shutting down.
For France, EU countries are in the same boat. Decisions have to be made at EU, not national level. He wants the EU to speak as a single voice.
Since Russia invaded Ukraine earlier this year, the EU is having a hard time acting as a united front. But Macron was furious when Berlin ditched European-made fighter jets and chose to buy F-35 warplanes instead.
This is an existential crisis. It raises questions about how strong is solidarity among EU countries, despite their different interests, yet their geopolitical influence as a bloc should be maintained.
But when President Macron and Chancellor Scholz met briefly in Brussels, it was to reassure allies they are committed to working together. France and Germany were the driving force behind the idea of a stronger, broader and a united EU. But these are difficult times. A war in Europe, high inflation, soaring energy prices have rattled the global economy and deepened divisions among EU nations. Paris and Berlin have managed to overcome many challenges in the past. But Europe's two major industrial countries may have no other option but to choose different paths as they deal with the fallout of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Hashim Al-Barra, Al Jazeera, Paris.
The new Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has addressed Parliament for the first time. Her government is credited with being the most right-wing in the country's Republican history. She pledged to continue Italy's support for Ukraine and distance herself from any fascist ideology. Stefano Fasano reports.
It is her first speech since being in the top job. Giorgia Meloni presenting herself as a steady hand to lead Italy through turbulent times. A month after her far-right Brothers of Italy clinched a historic election victory, and days after being sworn in as Italy's Prime Minister. Ms. Meloni rooted her political career in the neo-fascist party Alleanza Nazionale before moving away and founding her own, Brothers of Italy. She's never denied her ties with the Italian neo-fascist right wing, but she used her speech to create some distance.
I never felt sympathy or closeness to undemocratic regimes, any regime, including fascism.
The prospect of a Eurosceptic, populist government in Italy had sparked concern among its allies, especially in Brussels. Those fears seemed to come true when one of the members of the government coalition, former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, was recorded last week defending his old personal friend, Russian President Vladimir Putin, claiming he had exchanged birthday gifts and very sweet letters in his words. No such friendliness towards the Russian leader from Ms. Meloni.
Whoever believes that it's possible to trade Ukraine's freedom for our peace of mind is wrong. Giving in to Putin's blackmail on energy would not solve the problem, it would aggravate it.
Key to Italy's future growth is almost 200 billion euros in grants and loans from the EU's post-pandemic recovery fund. But those depend on Rome implementing major reforms, from criminal justice to public administration. Those reforms have been in the making for years, but never quite became reality. She thinks she will change that, in her words, upsetting all predictions. For both in Europe and Italy, it will be welcome change. Stefano Fasano, BBC News.
You were listening to the WinFM Headline News on 98.9. Our top stories were: Island Bakery bread van flips on its side in Challengers.
The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank engaged fifth form business students of the Gingerland Secondary School. Deputy Governor Valter Henry explains the importance of wealth creation.
Bird Rock residents destroyed by fire, no injuries reported.
Nevis Department of Education receives 250 tablets from Winsong Foundation.
Former Speaker of the House in the British Virgin Islands, Julian Willock, may contest the next general elections. Taiwan assists Haiti's law enforcement with a donation of personal protective equipment. Internationally, clothing giant Adidas has cut ties with rapper Kanye West, saying it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Thank you for listening.
That was the WinFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and the ICDF Taiwan Technical Mission.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
Think before you bin it. There can be some use in it. The Nevis Solid Waste Management Authority, in collaboration with Taiwan ICDF Technical Mission and the Department of Environment, presents Let's Recycle. We're encouraging all residential homes, commercial businesses, and schools to bring along your plastic bottles, metal cans, and aluminum cans, ready for an opportunity to win big. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the following locations: in Nevis, every second and fourth Friday of each month at Delta Petroleum, ex-Petrol in Camps, Big Six in Gingerland, and the Old Artisan Village in Charlestown. In St. Kitts, every second and fourth Tuesday at the Connery Roundabout, every first and third Tuesday at Buckley's parking lot in front of Best Buy, and the last Saturday of each month in Dieppe Bay. But wait, that's not all. 1 pound equals 1 point. So bring your recyclables and build up your points for a chance to win stainless steel thermal bottles, flatware, and much more. To learn more about the recycling project, do visit our Facebook page at Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis, or contact us at 465-2372. The choice is yours. Save it or waste it. You are the difference. So think smart. Take PAT, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equaline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equaline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equaline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
Good afternoon to Sharon and to viewers and listeners around the globe. Welcome back to the second half of Voices. My name is Socrates, and you're logged on to Win FM 98.9. In case you didn't know, that's on the FM dial. For another episode of Voices is Wednesday, the 26th day of October, in a few short days, 5 days to be precise. We'll be saying, November come already? Bye. So yes, we are actually easing down on November. And then we have the big month of December, Carnival, all sort of stuff happening. November, by the way. And somebody says, shut up, answer the phone. So, call 11 Voices.
Yes, Taco, this is Big Banana.
Yes, sir. Talk to me.
I basically was listening off and on, but what happened is that I heard that you had a conversation about the honorarium for this honorarium. The word is for taxi drivers. Well, the word is for taxi drivers 17 months. How that go?
Well, the Prime Minister mentioned an honorarium for frontline workers.
Okay.
And I think it's in the tune of $2,000. I think those may have been those are customs, those EMT, nurses, and taxi drivers are saying, hey, but there was no mention of us. We are also frontline workers because under the COVID, during the COVID lockdown, they're the ones who were asked to take passengers, do services, take it to the designated areas from the airport, etc. And they think they should have qualified in that category. So lots of calls have been coming to me asking me, but I said, we the presidents, we know we would have taken a proposal to the government in seeking financial relief for the taxi fraternity as a result of how we were devastated by COVID. So that's where our focus is. It has been that way since with the former government. We took it to the Minister of Finance, and we now made petition for the current government to address that. So while we're waiting for that, we're hearing that an honorarium was paid for frontline workers. Now, one showed me a document yesterday signed by the former CEO of tourism where they were designated as such. And he's wondering how come they're not being paid that. So that is what I put in the air. But the thing is, I asked taxi drivers to call. Let's discuss the issue. You've asked me to bring it up for you. Let me know exactly what your position is, what do you want. So I'm happy that you have called now to inquire. But
okay,
nothing...
Sakoti,
go ahead.
As a representative for taxi, right, I want going forward for myself and everybody else that is independent, that is not in a part of an association, right? I like to know that I represent most of the independent guys. When you guys having a meeting with the president, with Ms. Franks, whoever you guys having this meeting with, so I wanted to hold. I giving you on the media now. I could have given it on the circus. I wanted to hold, be held accountable, be held at this point to let me know, right, when they're having a meeting, and if it's possible for me to be invited to those meetings as the independent representative, because I find that there is something was in the air, and I called in sometime on the show. You weren't there. I think it was the other guy, where not the honorarium, but there was something said by Denzel Douglas, the former prime minister of the country, that they was going to give taxi drivers some 17 months. You ever heard anything about that?
$17,000 was the figure they quoted.
Okay. I'm not going to get a headache for that, what you just said. But I personally think that they're taking taxi drivers that is not going to reach out there to say anything, because some of them don't pay the Social Security. And that is why they don't want to jump. They don't pay Social Security, right? And that is what they're going to tell them. If you don't pay Social Security, you can't be a part of this deal. Like when they were paying out the $1,000 a month when Timothy was doing it, the Honorable Timothy Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where they jump off to. But I personally think taxi drivers, right, supposed to contribute to Social Security, because in the long run, there's going to be some kind of benefit for them. Because
right,
taxi business, you ain't got a medallion, if that's the right word.
Medallion.
Well, you could sell it, right?
Yes.
So we need to go in the area there, not waiting for handout from Taxis Association when you get old, because you're shitting on your foot and them kind of thing.
Watch your language, Michael B. You can do better than that.
What?
No, your graphic with that you know, you can do better. You can. I know you can speak better than that.
Okay. I didn't deliberately went off because I know it's not an offense really, but for the radio, I apologize for the people here that hear that. But I'm saying to you, we need to find some area to fall back on when we get out of this taxi business and can't drive and they ain't got no foot and ain't got no hand and
you're right.
Place. So if you pay Social Security, at the end of the day, we're gonna get something. But another thing what happened in Socrates is that I think that the association guys, the presidents of the association, should take it up on hand to speak to Mr. Joe about it. Because you said something earlier about the 5 times the ship come and how much people is on the ship and how much jobs we can get. But people are we all. They're looking forward to get something.
Of course.
And I don't know if the government is waiting for ships to start coming in 3 and 4, thinking that they have on a lot of people. The economy isn't bad outside there in the world. A lot of people can't afford to travel. Even though they travel, they're borrowing money. So they're going to be kind of skimpy.
Well, listen to this, Michael B. Listen, right? The president's made representation to the tourism authority for, you know, a new format. Increases, blah, 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 blah. And we were told to wait for a whole month after the season would have started so they can have a better assessment before. Let me finish, please. They said give it a whole month first before. So we said, okay. And it makes sense because if the season has started over the past month or so on, based on what's happening down there, they were right. There's nothing happening. Okay? There's one point of it. Our next point you raised about we should try to see the Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Drew. We decided yes, but we wanted to go through the protocol of first going to the tourism minister. Because to go to him and say, well, we come to see you, he'll ask, did you go to tourism? So we would have been and sat with the tourism minister and we were waiting the response. He's the one we want to see. Okay. But respecting the protocol, we waited, we got an interview with our meeting with the Honorable Minister of Tourism, and we're waiting. What we were told that so and so, but would have to travel for the following Monday, and they get back to us. So we're waiting. We're not demanding, etc., but we need an audience with the Minister of Finance, because we had a meeting with the past Minister of Finance on the same issue. We were told to take the documents to his cabinet secretary, and we waited and waited. Government changed. Taxi drivers, go and see Dr. Drew. Yes, let's first go through the Minister of Tourism. That's the step we're taking. And he's representing everyone. Now, for your request to take you to the meeting with the tourism or whomever, as an independent, they would first have to nominate you as a representative, because tomorrow a guy could come and say, well, I'm the representative. No, I'm serious. We have no problem.
Yeah, well,
but if you're recognized as such, then of course Michael B. is the nominated or whatever representative of the independents. And we would embrace that. So where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I understand it, but they need somebody that is not just gonna sit in meetings and today they're organizing to get guys on board, and I can't go back to say, well, they are politically appointed or whatever, but I'm saying to you, those people on this board, are they looking in the best interest of what going on with taxi drivers?
Who's on the board?
With taxi drivers?
Who's on the board?
What's going on with taxi drivers?
Who's on the board?
Socrates, we are here, Wait until we meet in
Because when I was on the board, I organized a demonstration on behalf of taxi drivers. When I was on the tourism board, and I was told, well, you can't be on the tourism board and have a demonstration against. I didn't ask to be on the board. My thing was a taxi operator long before you put me on board. And I held my demonstration because the interest was to represent the interests of taxi drivers, not being on the board. So I asked who was on the board.
But no. Socrates,
I hear you.
To be dealt with here, because I basically looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
Some guys pay Development Bank and these different institutions for months,
I'm one.
And they're actually going to be looking at, not just the pandemic and how the pandemic won here, they're going to be looking at getting their money.
They figure the season starts.
You see some people bust the reverse from them.
I understand that.
I'm in the
same boat.
Serious, right?
I'm in the same boat. And if you want me to say, it's been 5 weeks since I got a job at Port Zante. 5 weeks. And those who are down there know what I'm talking about. By the way, are you aware of the meeting? Have you been informed of the meeting this afternoon at the Marriott?
Like I was on ZZ talking to this guy that kept that show there. This guy that used to be the assistant manager, however he is. He got 2 questions to me. He asked me what? Everything they should add more taxi drivers.
Lord, no.
Adding more taxi drivers to this thing. Like, is a chaos never met?
Lord, it is chaos as it is.
And another thing that it needs to be looked at, people might be mad at me, but if you're going to go 4 and 5, I had 4 and 5 vehicles when things was better. But if you're going to go 4 and 5 vehicles and coming down the dock to work, right? Because when I come with them, they say, oh, you got to go people online to have all these vehicles. But these have guys coming with 4 or 5 vehicles. They might work with me, but I got to put this out there. Okay. They're hustling harder now. You still got 1 vehicle can't get a job, and when you get a job, they're still hustling you. And they're coming in with 3 and 4 guys that just have a taxi license. And it's going to turn a chaos down. They need to be looked at, and these people need to speak to me.
You saw what happened yesterday?
Change all of that for them, because I spoke to you already about this issue. Whereas the people that is coming in the front, you could never say as a dispatcher that your dispatcher walked to me. And that's over maybe 20 years going to the back.
I understand it, Michael B. I understand it. There's a need to hustle because there's no work.
But I'm saying to you, you guys that is in the presidency area need to deal with that, because I had the guy, a simple guy. But you could say, I worked for you before as an individual. I worked for 10-foot Gray. But when I come out the gate, I come out with that interest to go forward and to better myself. But
and I've congratulated you on that.
I'm saying, Sakuti, it needs to be dealt with, because a lot of things need to stop down there. I see guys building 3 and 4 trucks, tourism giving them plates. I mind that you got 2 trucks. But when you got 4 and 5 trucks, you got to be getting people online. That's the same thing they tell me. But the rule change, because some people are
different strokes, different folks.
Voting for Labour, voting for UPP, whoever P. So it's getting bad, and they need to look into that. But that is why you say I want to be on board and speak to the Minister of Tourism to let them know these are the policy that some of the tourism people had in place.
Okay.
If you're going to have 3 or 4 vehicles, you got to have people coming online.
Here's what.
Not you coming down there and you got 2, not because you're in the line. You're coming in an area where you're pushing on people and cutting price, and because you ain't taking money from the tourists, they're taking your money, taking off your bands, them off your hands, and they can injustice.
Michael B.
I am saying it's not good.
Okay, I've got to go for a break now. But here's a question: are you going to come to the meeting this afternoon?
Which meeting that is?
There's a meeting for all taxi stakeholders, even the store owners at Port Zante, to be held at 4 o'clock this afternoon at the Marriott Grand Ballroom.
I'm coming. I'm going to be there because I need to really voice
express yourself.
a lot of things that I'm voicing here on the radio. I know they're listening, but at the same time, I call this week.
We have to go to a break. We have to go for a break, right? But come this afternoon to the meeting.
I'll be back.
I appreciate that, okay? We go down time now to give Caesar his due, and we will be right back.
Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending cashback at Horsewoods. Yes, it's that time of the year. Double cashback coupon season is here. The season when Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances gives away millions in free groceries with every FlexPay purchase and a chance to win 1 year in free groceries with a never-ending double cashback. Yes, the Horsewoods never-ending double cashback is back for even more free groceries. This is double cashback coupon season, so come today and get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries in the never-ending double cashback promotion. Yes, happening now. Get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase. The never-ending double cashback is back at Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store, where you get double cashback coupons for free groceries with every FlexPay purchase. Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending savings, never-ending discounts, never-ending quality and service, and the never-ending double cashback for this double cashback coupon season. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to another episode. We are in the second half of today's presentation of Voices. And before the phone lines start ringing again, let me clarify a point. I was speaking about the incident that took place on Port Zante on Monday, where a security officer physically assaulted a taxi driver. And I did say that Ms. Gerda Franks from the Product Development and Tourism Office went to the hospital to visit the gentleman, and in her discussion she did say to him, well, it's now a police matter. But the video that's making around, you will see that the police was trying to engage the young man, and he was like knocking off the police hand from his shoulder, but the police actually escorted him off the porch. I'm told that he has been suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. But initially, from the optics, it would seem that the police was arresting him. I believe the police was actually trying to rescue him, because the taxi drivers were up in arms. They was justifiably angry. You don't put your hands on people, and pushed him down and then dragged him from inside the barrier area outside, left him and walked back in so cavalierly like, well, I just threw out my garbage and there's nothing you can do about it. What mindset do you leave home with to come to work? Is it to war with taxi operators? There's a situation created by overflooding the market with drivers. I said earlier, I had occasion to ask the former CEO, Brown, have there been any feasibility study done to determine whether the industry can take more drivers or not? No. So why you keep bringing in people? With the closure of the sugar industry, there was influx. They had to create jobs because the sugar industry was closed kind of haphazardly. They said it would never close, and it closed. You had to create jobs. So a lot of people came into the industry untrained. There have been some training sessions, of course, but initially they didn't understand the crux of the matter. So they're coming to work, and they're not members of any of the association. So the association president asked to husband or talk to the drivers. They're not a member of the association. They're saying, well, it's my boss, I'm working for myself. They're not members. We cannot entertain any form of discipline. You're the tourism authority, you deal with it. And there have been many complaints and many challenges. I can tell you right now, there's no easy fix, no easy solution. For the persons who wait diligently at the back with the numbers on the board waiting for the job waiting for the jobs in turn, it's not happening. It's been 5 weeks for me, and everybody's, no, I'm not joking. It's been 5 weeks. And whereas gasoline is 14 plus per gallon, for diesel for my truck is $22 plus. So when I'm leaving Sandy Point, coming up, going to the port, like on Monday and the Monday before, and going home without a job, I understand the folks who sit to the front of the building trying to hustle. Not everybody can do it. I don't like it. I don't get it, but I understand. And when you're there, and it gets a bit ruckus at times, the security, they need to understand you're invested into a business that's challenging, right? Not everybody going to go to the back. And this word about you're not supposed to solicit. You have purchased or you're paying for a business license, plying your trade. When you're in the circus and someone passes and you say, taxi, is that soliciting? Of course it is. That's your business model, to ask people, do you need my service? So if you stand there, you say nothing, you'll go home broke, so you can't feed your family. So at Port Zante, the same thing applies, but because it's more competitive, it becomes a problem. So there's a system in place. There's what we call a rotation. So you go down, you have your number on the board, and they call the next in line. Well, for the past couple of weeks, the next in line got in the work. And so those who go to the front and engage in that hustle, as I said, is very negative optics. I don't do it, but I understand it. How do we fix it? Perhaps this afternoon, when we go to that meeting with tourism, there'll be suggestions, solutions. I don't know, but I understand the Indians down there, the store owners, they too are complaining because the barrier that's supposed to get the taxi drivers away from the tourists has been extended down to where you find the sign that says St. Kitts. So that means the passengers now are walking past the stores down the corridor. So they too are affected. I recall the time was when you would leave the arrival hall, and to the left of that was a designated area where the taxis would park. That was sold. So that plan to have us park there, that was sold. We were then put to the back of the whole, down by First Class Jewelry. So the ships are down there, and drivers are told to stay to the very back, and police officers would run you back there till you stay in your hole. A certain police officer, go back in your hole, very disrespectfully. And it created a problem. So you would come down the corridor, and the store vendors would complain. The taxi drivers are trying to interfere with the guests, we can't get work. And so they say, okay, park on the well, if you see the left behind Map House down there. That's our now parking area. And they'll direct traffic via the dispatchers to the next in line. 2-3 ships in port sometimes difficult. Because as I said, if you had your husband, see, during the busy season, it looks very lucrative. Very lucrative. And then you're encouraged to invest. But when you get down there, it's a different story. And 2 local entities, one in particular, is now marketing more on the ships. So the beach jobs that we used to get, they're all gone. They're all gone. And the answer is, well, taxi drivers or the taxi them, they need to go over to Sea Trade and make a presentation for themselves. So that's the solution. We must go out there. But the ships are coming to St. Kitts. The ships are coming to St. Kitts because the tourism authority have put whatever place to bring them here. We are told, oh, yeah, well, let's go to the phone lines. Call 11 Voices.
Pleasant day, the King.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
All right, great. I've never dealt with the taxi business, but from all my travels on cruise ships and stuff, based on the type of problem I'm hearing you guys having.
Is this the famous New York Joe? Is this the famous?
No, it's Richie.
Okay. Voice on close. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe what they need is a earlier up, maybe in the visiting area. Maybe what they need is an official to figure out who is going to need transportation. So in other words, maybe what they need is a booth that says transportation.
There is that. There is that. There is that. There is that.
And when they come off and they go to that booth, now the booth now have tickets with taxi, which, in other words, the person at the booth does not know who the ticket number belongs to, because it's not a ticket that the same person has the same number all the time. When you show up, you pull a ticket, you get your ticket, so it gives you 2 tickets.
There is a numbered rotation. There's a rotation and you go by number. So you send off 50 jobs today. Tomorrow you start at 51. You continue in that order. So when the guest comes off.
But where is that number given out?
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, because you're saying hustlers are jumping ahead of the people who are in the numbers. So what I'm saying, if you have a ticket booth,
I didn't say that.
If you have a booth that says transportation, so when the person comes off and they go to the booth hands them a ticket with a number in it. So when they reach the area where the taxis are, they look for the taxi driver that has the corresponding number.
We have a better system than that.
How could it be better and you're having all this problem?
Because there are 2 areas. When they come off the gangway, they're engaged by what we call dispatchers, who sell them the tour, the information, and then they're directed to the next driver in line. More often than not, these people... Listen, Richie Bunting.
So if that is happening, Socrates, how are the hustlers getting...
If you listen, you'll understand. More often, if you listen, you'll understand. More often than not, the people want to walk out to the front. So they bypass that initial engagement area and go out to the front. when they go out to the front.
Listen to me. So what I'm saying is, so the people who, it's simple, because you're in a business that's not necessarily a guarantee business, right? So if a tourist is going to ignore the information at the front and walks past, then they are fair game for who, for lack of a better term, they are fair game to the scavengers.
No, don't do scavengers. Don't, you know, it's a free for all, but don't call taxi drivers scavengers. They choose to bypass that area and go out to the front.
I don't mean it that way at all. I don't mean it that way.
They bypass that area.
They are fair game to the freelancers then.
If you will.
They are fair game to the freelancers.
Right.
But if you need a more defined, determining, instead of all these dispatches and stuff out there, you have a major ticket booth when they come in, they see it. If you need ground transportation, collect and the information could be said on the ship as well. When you go to St. Kitts, if you want a taxi to take you anywhere, please go to the ticket, the transportation.
There's an information booth. And there's signage that says taxis and tours, independent and there's a signage there. They know that. But some people, and the word is spread, you get it cheaper outside. So when they go outside, and when it comes to the ship has a corner market to sell their tours, because the more tours they sell, the higher percentage they get. So they will not necessarily encourage the passengers to go and take a taxi. They'll sell them the tours first. So we get what's left over.
No, I know that. That part I know. Because it's not even, I put it to you this way as well too, it's not even the tours. Because what I see, and I don't know how all the islands could come together and get with that. The night before a destination or a port, whatever the port is going to be, the ships open up what they call a bazaar, right, in the ship, and everything that is sold on that island, all the T-shirts or whatever that for those islanders, say St. Kitts or whatever, they sell them watches and stuff. So by the time a lot of the tourists get off of the ship, most of them don't do the shopping that they want for paraphernalia for the island, because the ship's selling all that stuff on the ship the night before. Right? So what I'm saying, you have to figure out a way. You have to figure out a way, because you don't want it a free for all, because that's going to be chaos. They have to figure out a better way to get to the tourists in an organized way.
Richie, quickly. There were times they get approached. We had dispatchers. Good morning, how can we help you? They won't even answer at times. They bypass you as if you don't exist. And they go there.
Because you know why?
But we are there to engage them.
Let me give you again the reason why. As somebody I've done over 300 cruise ships, right? And my observation is they are so fed up of everybody in their space. So when you go to certain islands, it's bad, like the Dominican Republic. It's horrible. It's like one of the worst places to get off as a tourist. It's like every hustler in your face as soon as you get off.
Richie Bunton?
And so a lot of people, they are fed up to it. So the best way for them to deal with stuff like that is the moment you approach them, they just ignore you and try to navigate themselves.
We have one of the better reception area in terms of home porting here in the region. By far. So when they refuse to engage with us there, we are very polite. Good morning, welcome to St. Kitts. How can we help you? Would you like a tour? Here are options. The signage are there in place. But they pass and they go outside because it's beautiful out there. And you go, you want a taxi? How much? And they go to negotiate. As a matter of fact,
what they need to do, they probably need to legislate that dictates that if you're going to be involved in the taxi driver's business down at Port Zante, you have to be in an organized, whether or not it's going to call it a union or an association, you have to be in that.
Different story, but go ahead. But let me give an scenario.
That way everything could be managed and people could be penalized for breaking laws. Because in certain countries, take for example, me living in North New Jersey. A taxi you could call a taxi to take you to the airport, from your home to the airport. But you cannot have a taxi.
We understand that.
Designated pick you up at the airport.
We understand that. We're not there yet in terms of that, but I know what you're talking about. But again, here's the scenario. Morning, guys. How can we help you? Blah, blah, blah. How's the tour? The tour is 25 per person. Or how about 15? And they start to haggle. I will tell them, have a nice day. You have yourself a nice day because, it's a small island and this, hey, have yourself a nice day. So they go there because they want to get it cheaper. So all that is part of what's happening. You traveled, maybe it's the last stop on the cruise.
So maybe the problem, the focus should be on the people who are just out there freelancing. You have to figure out how to get.
Nobody's freelancing. But anyway, we got to pause for a session break, but no one is freelancing because they're all invested as business persons. I got to take a break, Richie. If we can continue the conversation, that'd be great, okay?
When I say freelancing, I'm talking about the people who are undercutting everybody, so they're not part of an association where you could reprimand them.
Okay, it's more than that. But thank you for your contribution. We pause forward from our sponsors. Thank you.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IG Value Club Blue Tax Special.
Running October 20th to November 2nd.
Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, $8.99. Swiss Miss Chocolate Mixes, $6.49. Breyers Ice Cream, just $26.99 each. Pepperidge Farm Cakes, $24.99. Essential Everyday Baking Chips, $11.99. Pringles Chips, $7.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. IG and Essential Everyday Cornflakes, $8.99. IG and Essential Everyday Mac and Cheese, $2.79. AM and Pepsodent Toothpaste, $4.99. Glucose Shakes, $8.99. Essential Everyday Croutons, $5.99. Essential Everyday Salt, $4.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí, ¿ah?
Value Mart.
Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less and save more. How, you ask? Essential Everyday and Equiline. Spend less on our Essential Everyday products and get the best quality, the best taste, and the best value. Spend less for all your family health and beauty needs with the Equiline brand of over-the-counter products. Horsford's Value Mart IGA is helping you spend less. With our Essential Everyday products and Equiline over-the-counter health and beauty care products. Shop smart and spend less at Value Mart, where price matters most.
And we're back with the hot topic today. You're listening to Voices, of course. The whole issue at Port Zante operations this afternoon at 4 o'clock or 4:30. They'll be meeting at the Marriott Grand Ballroom to discuss the issues and challenges at Port Zante. We go to the phone lines. Call you live on Voices.
Good afternoon, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about thou?
Oh, thou and Pigeon Goodman.
You must say... You mustn't say.
in our local parlance, we call it "you're cool."
Mm-hmm. Sharon, I don't have an idea what we're talking about. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
When you take a shot without water, you say that you're cool, man.
Definitely.
Now, according to the last caller there, he said something that I don't agree with what he said. Now, he said that the reason, you said when the tourism come off and you, the taxi drivers, meet them and you say, good morning, hello, welcome to St. Kitts or whatever.
Very politely. We try to engage them, offer the tours and the options.
And they just pass and go to the front.
Yeah, they bypass us. As is the right to.
Everybody is looking for the same mile at a cheaper price.
Correct.
So when he said that, the people are fed up. Now suppose you have 10 persons for the first time in their life, they're going on a ship for a cruise. And the first place that they're going to stop is right here in St. Kitts. And they come up and they say good morning. You say good morning to them and whatever they pass. What you mean to tell me? Them first 10 person and the first trip on a ship for a cruise, they fed up too?
Sometimes you get people who make the first stop on the cruise. And you get more work. Sometimes it's the last stop on the cruise. Right? But it's just people's mannerism on the whole. But we greet them very politely. Good morning, welcome to St. Kitts. How can we help you? These are two options, blah, blah, blah. How much is the price? It's 25 per person. How about 20? And they keep engaged, haggling. Other people, hey, have a nice day. Then they go out there to get it cheaper. So that's part of the issue. And we understand it. Because if Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you don't get a job, you're now compelled to cut the price to get a job. I do not agree with it, but I understand it because I've got like 30 plus years seeing it happening.
You know what I call it, too? You know what I call it? Cut and contrive.
It works for some people.
Cut the price to get something because you ain't get nothing for the first 3-4 days in the week. And here you got a chance to just drop down $1 or $2. He ain't going to kill you for you to get something to buy. But they know all over the world you have people dropping prices, and so therefore they're going for the lowest
Free
price
enterprise.
for the same mile.
Free enterprise.
Right.
So to punish a man because he cut a price, you have to look at the totality of the problem. You
That's
understand?
right.
Because it's been suggested, they drop the price, punish them, take away the license. Yes, that's not the answer. Dr. Denzil Douglas came up with a solution to that problem down there. I'm challenging the current Minister of Tourism, the current Prime Minister, and whomever to ask him about that solution that he recommended that will deal with the problem at Port Sante. I was in that meeting with him. He says, inasmuch as so-and-so, here is what we will do. And when we left the meeting, we gathered at the circus where we were parked. And I asked them, you believe him? They said, yes. I said, you believe that, man? But had he implemented that? And you could tell him that Socrates said, I was in a meeting, and he promised to implement these measures. Had he done that, we would not be where we are today. But the Honorable Denzil Douglas came up with a solution that would adequately and equitably address the disparity of the workflow at the port to the benefit of everybody. Tell him, Joseph.
Look, a woman is a good economical advisor, you know.
They've had to.
Because I'll show you something. A man and a woman going shopping. The man only going in one shop.
Me.
And he pick up all what he want in there. But the woman going walk 10 shop just to get a bag of onion cheaper than...
Where my situation?
So therefore, a woman is a good advisor economically.
Yeah, they check the price list. Man does a pick up thing like the crazy and then... That's very horrible.
and definitely, and when a man cooking, a man going to take one big onion, cut it up and put it in, a woman going cut the onion in pieces for 3 days.
They're the world's greatest economists. They've had
Yes,
to
they are the greatest.
use their skills, their talent to really run the family. Right? I recall some
Yeah.
years ago, my father first came home and we saw the house my mother built. He wanted to know how he actually cried. Because she know how to pinch and save. It's surprising. You want to know how?
I'm gonna let somebody else get in here.
Okay, sir. Thanks for your contribution as usual. Always
Yeah,
well
man, bless up, yeah.
appreciated. So yes, this is not a new issue. The challenges we face at Posante, and so some years ago, the tax associations, we took a delegation to the then Prime Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas. We laid out the problems, the challenges. To the phone lines, so we'll get back to that if we can. Caller, you live on Voices.
Hi, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about thou?
I'm giving thanks for life. May I
Beautiful.
have permission to speak?
Most certainly, sir.
Yeah, it would be remiss of me as a taxi driver not to weigh in on the subject at hand. And I would have liked to glean from what you said the former Prime Minister proposal was.
You would like to hear it?
And how best we can, it's not too late, but because of the shrinking portion that we would have gotten or enjoyed before, because you notice our portion as taxi drivers, unorganized and so forth, our portion has been shrunk.
And continues
tremendously
to
over the time.
be shrinking, yeah.
And so here it is, we are competing for a smaller piece of the pie,
The scrap left over.
and things are getting worse from bad to worse. I myself have guilty of being upfront before, and I was not comfortable with being upfront. I think it was taken from me, myself, as a human being, the way I had was to kind of compete or to really eke out a living. I don't think I should get up out my bed at morning time.
It's not
thinking
dignified.
that
It's
some
not
individual
dignified.
have my destination and what I deserve and what is portioned to me for the day in any individual hand. I think it is bigger than that, and whatsoever, when I get up out my bed, I claim in what is mine before I come out my house. So that when I come out my house, whatsoever I get, I am thankful for. Be it $1,000 or a penny. I am thankful because that is only one day out of many, many days. And I have seen bad days before. And that's my approach to it. So I don't come down to the port anymore thinking that, considering I have my mortgages to pay and everything like that, and thinking that I'm going to make it in one day. Because it really put a lot of stress on us. And so I am thankful for what the day will bring. And that is one of my approach. Bearing in mind I have mortgages and other things to deal with because I have a family. But I does not come out of my bed. If you get me out of my bed without my meditation and so, my day, in my mind, is not going to be right. So I take my time and come out of my bed.
Okay.
Considering I just retired the other day. In terms of...
Congratulations.
62.
Congratulations.
You know what I mean? So here is it. I'm getting a little something from Social Security. A long time ago, who would have thought that I would have got to this age? I am here and I'm thankful.
Amen
So
to that.
If staying in my bed an extra minute would be on the premise of I'm 62 and I'm getting a little something, so be it. So
Amen.
I come out of my bed, I come out of my home, claiming what is rightfully mine for the day. And that is how I approach it. I myself, I go down at the port early in the free line because it was an advantage that I thought I should have grabbed that advantage living so close proximity to the place.
It's changed now.
So I do that. And I am thankful for the changes. Whatever changes, I accept it. Whatever changes might come to the free line or the rotation line, I accept all of that. But I am not coming out and going in the front and like how Richie Bunting explained it. Sometimes that explanation is befitting of the way we behave at times.
Quite so. I myself won't do it.
When I'm not behind the king, I will come back. If I get a early job, I'll come back and go down the aisle Go down the aisle, position myself there with my board, displaying my destination, and who comes my way, comes my way. Because I think the people, our visitors are disgusted. We have got report of the disgusting behavior of not just Sinkits alone, but other destinations, and I don't want to be in that. You have something to say?
Yeah, well, let's speak, but the point, and you're aware of the fact that we have a reception area where we engage the guests in a very quiet, mannerly way, and we share information with them. Some of them don't even say good morning, don't respond. So we have that area where we engage them. Good morning, welcome to Sinkits, how can we help you? These are tour options, blah, blah, blah. These are the prices. Then they go to the booth with the signage and the tourism official, and they sign them up, and the next driver in line gets the job. So there is that structure in place. We have over 18 years experience doing this. And there are people who will come back and say that's the best reception they've gotten throughout the cruise. But that is when...
And a lot of initiatives has been put in place by the suggestions of stakeholders, by the suggestions of taxi operators, and the collaboration with tourism. A lot of initiatives have been put in place.
Of course.
But some of the initiatives has worked. Some of the initiatives would work, provided we give them time. But we are not lacking of initiatives.
Of course not.
It's just that, like the point Richard was making, he's not too much on the ground here in Sinkits to see how we operate. Because when there are 2-3 ships in town,
we're swamped.
you cannot intercept all of the guests that are
We're swamped. We can't contain them in that area.
And so they're going to come. Some people want to shop. Sometimes they have shopping on their mind first before they would even think of a tour.
Yes.
And so they want to do all the shopping, browsing around, and then do the tour later. Some of us would convince them to do otherwise, and so be it, because, you know, it depends on us trying to get something to go on with at the end of the day. But I don't oppose to things like that. I have seen it. I have tried it.
And you understand both sides?
I don't want to belittle myself of
being
my destination, think it's the nearest who can sell itself in that manner.
Correct. That's why I do not do it. It's a matter of dignity. Right? I cannot be seen, haggling among my own people.
9 out of 10, you know. 9 out of 10 time, you know. Once I finish with my tour, you know.
Of course.
When I go to seminars and workshops and so forth, I go above and beyond these workshops, you know. I do my research and add to my repertoire that I'm not braggadocious, but I am one of the better guys down there when it comes to information, disseminating information as to how I sell my country.
There you go.
Because these people don't want to hear this Columbus thing. They're coming from a Columbus environment. Why am I going to come and tell them about Columbus? If I do mention the man's name twice, I mention him a lot.
It was suggested last week by...
Some people will bang people on the head with this Columbus.
Carl Astafan was in studio with me last week, Friday I think it was, and she recommended that we look at the way we share the information. It's from a European perspective. We rehash the same thing, so we need to train ourselves, retool, and present. We have a marvelous product, and some of us just rehash what we're told without, like yourself, doing the required research. And so I appreciate your contribution because it helps to inform what's happening down there, how we can better the product. But in terms of the recommendation by the former deputy, the former prime minister, I would like him to engage me again and ask me, what it was Socrates? I'll tell him, I'll tell the current body, this is what he recommended based on the challenges we were facing and the con that a certain company played on St. Kitts, 2 companies, to get that status. And when we challenge him, he says, I didn't know, but here's what. Here is what we're going to have a sharing arrangement. We will have a sharing arrangement between these companies and the taxi fraternity. And everybody was, yeah. So I asked him, I believe the man. We're going to pause quickly.
Stakeholders, the king, in my opinion, out of all of the stakeholders in this business, I think we are at the bottom in terms of our progressive behavior or thinking.
But aren't we ambassadors?
You know what I mean? It's like we are defeating ourselves.
Aren't we ambassadors?
In terms of the way we approach this thing. And then the associations are there. no one have confidence in the association for whatever reason. They are there to serve a purpose, and you guys are giving it a concerted effort, but it's like, wow. You know what I mean? The mindset needed a revolutionary change, and I'm not seeing it coming anytime.
All right. I've got to take a
Thanks for
next.
listening again.
Thank you very much for the contribution. We have to pause one more time before we close today, so we'll pause now for another kind word, for a word from a sponsor, okay?
Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending cashback at Horsewoods. Yes, it's that time of the year. Double cashback coupon season is here. The season when Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances gives away millions in free groceries with every FlexPay purchase and a chance to win 1 year in free groceries with a never-ending double cashback. Yes, the Horsewoods never-ending double cashback is back for even more free groceries. This is double cashback coupon season, so come today and get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries in the never-ending double cashback promotion. Yes, happening now. Get double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries with every higher purchase. The never-ending double cashback is back at Horsewoods Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store, where you get double cashback coupons for free groceries with every FlexPay purchase. Don't stop, won't stop, can't stop the never-ending savings, never-ending discounts, never-ending quality and service, and the never-ending double cashback for this double cashback coupon season. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
And we're back in the closing minutes of today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates. If I'm had phone line there. Okay, let's take the caller because there it's all about the caller. Caller 11 Voices.
The King.
Yes, sir.
I listened to some of your words just now in that conversation with the caller, and something you said that struck me. You said sometimes when you greet them, they don't even answer. Now, I work in the hotel industry, and I have a cousin who is a taxi driver. And I look at him one time when Ballahu used to be Ballahu, the restaurant, the swing that Ballahu used to be, in the middle of the taxi stand, and he was doing just what you stated earlier about soliciting by asking, taxi, taxi. And, I watch him, and I said to myself, although I'm in the industry, I could never see myself doing that. Now, I mean no disrespect to taxi drivers. But when you said that just now, that when you greet them, they don't answer you. Sometimes they don't even answer you. Here we are in a different era in our space. And your caller said that he's not coming out of his bed like he used to before. That in itself is something, because time has shifted. Remember earlier that I remind us of the commercial during COVID, that Caribbean tourism is dead in the water, and all that comes behind of that. And here we are hearing that our taxi drivers now are saying they're not coming out of their bed like before. I am in the hotel industry where I just returned to work last December, the King. And right now I am contemplating to get out of it, because it's a system where they have created. Now, yes, finance is something that we all need. But let us go back. I said to you in my earlier call, and you said that you reflect on the past.
But Jane, we got about 3 more minutes. You've been on twice, so please come to the point because I want to wrap up. We got about 3 more minutes, so get to the point, please.
Yes, the King. We need to go back. We need to go back and fetch what we left behind, because what is behind is important to us. We are a people who have gone outside of ourselves, and now we are glorifying whiteness. I hope you get my drift, but I'm going to finish now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
hearing.
that. Okay, thank you for that. I want to give context to, somebody sent me a query about it seems as if taxi drivers who are now joining, they should be a part of an association. Not necessarily because you have the independent operators and it's a democracy. What used to happen, though, for new drivers applying to get into the industry, the tourism authority would consult the executive of the then taxi association to ask about the state of the industry. Can you take a driver or 2 or 3? And from that consultation, they take those persons and they'll go through a probationary period before they were bona fide taxi drivers. As a matter of fact, they couldn't go and apply for any duty-free concession unless they had a certain amount of time operating. But then, all of a sudden, and it goes to the politics of the thing, we see people on the port with IDs and you wonder, well, how do you get that? How you... Wait. They just bypassed the association presidents and gave out handout because it was election season. And that's how the whole thing started to fall apart. So when they're asking the presidents to try to control or speak to your membership, they're not our members. They have no affiliation with the association because they came in feeling beholden to politicians who gave them their license. So they broke that system that was in place. So these people have no affiliation, no respect, no regards for the industry because they were given. Well, they invested. They wasn't really given, but the formula that was in place to make sure that you had an understanding of how to operate and you could be disciplined by the association based on your behavior. That's no longer in play because the politicians changed it. Election coming up, we want votes, here's a tax license, here's a tax license, here's a tax license. And of course, we all need to invest. So I'm not knocking a person in investing. But that's the context of how this thing began to fall apart. With people feeling, well, it's my boss, you can't tell me what to charge. And people started to do things, driving fast because they didn't have the proper training. You can't tell a man you have 3 training sessions and you're qualified to operate them. You have no understanding of the industry. You're all about making some money. You invest. But in taking in charge of, as it comes to taking care of the industry, you're concerned about your bottom line. How much you make because you have to pay a mortgage. And I understand that too. You have to look at the various angles. But from where I sit, just to give you some context, we are at the end of today's session. It's been a pleasure. We've discussed quite a few things. For the taxi operators or stakeholders who didn't get the memo about the meeting at the Marriott Grand Ballroom this afternoon, is to discuss operations at Port Zante. Be there, be informed, ask questions. Being informed is... Anyway, I want to thank you for listening, for your contribution, those who viewed, didn't comment, etc. It's been a wonderful Wednesday here, hosting at Win FM 98.9. Unfortunately, Moi was not be able to come on Friday. I've got engagement. I got to make a little chiching on the side because. So, have yourself a wonderful rest of the Wednesday, and may God bless. Take care.